Okay, I have the ASSA Maximum Plus Restricted, not to be confused with the ASSA Twin Maximum that has a sidebar in it. This is the same key as that one. It has little sidebar on it and everything, but there's no sidebar in here. There's no cut for it on the plug. There's no side pins or anything like that. So I guess you can use these keys for like an exterior door that's a twin, and then your interior doors could be these cheaper ones without the sidebar and stuff like that. So you can share the same key between them. That means that this one has 6 barrel spools on the top with matching counter milling, like 2 serrations in each of the cylinders of the plug. I think it's in all of them. I don't know. I have to take a look. I just got this one and picked it once, so everything in here is very new and not worn down, so that can add to the difficulty and almost certainly is going to add to the duration of this pick. This could be a long pick. In particular, when you go in here, you could start with maybe like a raking step, because here, number 4, it feels like, is binding right at the bottom. And as I lift it, it now is fully springy, kind of like the behavior of a taper. So as I go through and I feel for another one like that, 6, 5, 4, 3, all right, 2 is doing it. I lift up 2. That was very mushy lifting. Now I go back. 6, 5 is click, but that's not like a click of the shear line. That's just like a click of it kind of sticking in the plug somewhere. I don't know exactly what's going on, but these I noticed this with barrels mostly. They have to be worked their way up into the Bible, or yeah, I guess, or either work their way up into the Bible, or the bottom has to be worked up in the plug, right? So 6, 5, and you can go over this like dozens of times before you get to the point where your there are 2 just mushed up a little bit, where your barrel lips drop into those see, I got a big click there, drop into the counter milling. Okay, and at that point, when everything's either set or in the counter milling, you'll get a tiny false set. Probably half the time I miss it, but you just keep going through, working them up, and so I like, see, I have to hit 6 again, I have to hit 5 again, 4 no, 3 no. I think that was a little one from 6, 5, okay, 4 again, 3 no, 2 again, no 1, 6 again, 5. So it's very imprecise. 4, 3. But eventually, if you just keep doing this, you'll get it to the point where you can start your actual picking. Like, you'll have everything in the counter milling and you can start working on it. Now, even when you get to that point, you'll probably set a few barrels, and then you'll hit one, they'll drop others, and they'll drop back down into this kind of tapered behavior, and you got to go through again for those ones and get it there. It's not that that you lost progress. You're still making forward progress, but maybe you dropped something that got set too early or anything like that. So don't get discouraged if you have to go back to what feels like the beginning. It's usually you've made some progress. All right, it feels like I'm getting closer because I feel the top of 6 now. Like the other ones have long spring travels, but 6 didn't. And 2 doesn't want to go at all. Or 3 maybe it was. I'm not sure. 1 doesn't want to really go. 6 is fine. 5, nothing. And I get to the point where they're just jiggling. All right, this one is binding. 2 is binding, but in the taper style again. 1 is mushy. 6. And I use a lot of tension during this phase. 5 feels like it's binding, so I got a click from that. That felt like an actual real click. here. This guy feels like he's binding. Okay, so I got click and I got a little bit of plug rotation. So I think that we might be in our milling, because this one still feels like it's binding. I think it's 2. I'm gonna give it some more. Another click. It still feels binding. There's 2 serrations, and then you can get into the and now it's jiggling. So I clicked into the first serration, clicked into the second, and then finally I clicked into what I think this pin is set. All right, let's go up to pin 1. All right, I can't really tell if it's jiggling from the bottom, so what I can do is I can lift it to the top, and then using my left thumb here, if I get on that pin, I can feel for the jiggle with my left thumb, and there's a jiggle there. So I know that that one is not really ready. 2 is jiggling. I'm having a hard time finding 3. 1. The problem is that sometimes I let off my tension while I'm doing this, and I'll drop something, so I gotta be mindful to keep my tension up. 2. I can kind of hear the spring on that one. I can hear the spring from here on that one. You guys can probably hear it better since there's that microphone on there. This one feels like it's binding. Oh, it feels like I'm going to drop something. I got 1 click out of it. Got another click out of it. I think that was the last click it wants to give me. I hear that now. That seems okay. I'm betting I dropped something towards the front though. Number 1. Number 2. Number 2 feels like okay. I kind of pushed up on 2 trying to get into position, and it gave me a little bit more plug rotation. I think 2 just went back into the milling. Let me double check from the top. Yep. Maybe I'll switch back to the left shoulder view. I don't know if that gives a better view of the pick moving back up and down. Maybe I'll do that for the next or one of the future videos. So I'm going to try to push number 2 up. Got another click, but still feels like it's in the milling. There we go, and we're open. So we'll take a look in the inside of this and see how many of those chambers have counter milling. Maybe not all of them did, because I didn't feel like I pushed through it. But maybe during that, what I call the tapered phase, maybe I got some of those through the counter milling. All right, so for this, you can see it's open. Oh, all right. What happens when you do that? It means I did a full 180. You got to go in here. You got to push down all the driver pins that you just lifted. And this is not the best pick for that because the end lifts up, but there we go. And now you're back in business. There we go. This one has a nice loose top cover, so make sure that cover it up with your finger or something when you pull this off so you don't shoot the springs out. There we go. Actually, I should have probably done it 1 chamber at a time. All right, 6, 5, 3. I didn't bring out any tweezers, so let's see if I can do this with what I have. 4, 1, and 2. And actually, to make it a little easier, I'll take this cover again, I'll put it on there, and just leave that first chamber open so I can dump that first chamber. So the barrels, they're double-sided, so orientation doesn't matter like with gins. 2. 3. All right, this side is not. Let me move that up here and I'll do this underneath. 4. This is easier to reach. 4. And you'll see that the barrels should have varying length to try to balance the length of the pin stacks. And the last one. So there's the pins, and let's go ahead and see what we have as far as counter milling goes on the plug. Actually, I should have unscrewed this while I still had 1 pin in there to stop. That pin would stop the the plug from spinning, because when you go to unscrew this, it can be difficult. So, but I can stop the actuator with my thumb. Okay, take that off, and the plug comes out. There's nothing special on the Bible, no serrations or anything there, no tape. Oh, what do you call it? It's not been tapped. All right, let's take a look at. Actually, we'll do it with the camera control. Let's look at this. We've got counter milling on all 6 chambers. And what you're looking at for barrel versus gins is 1 deep one. Barrel, you have these 2 more shallow serrations. So 1, 2, boom. 1, 2, boom. So that's how you know you have the barrel counter milling. And that what that will do is, if I can pick one of these up, that little thin lip on the barrel there will catch inside each of those. It goes click, click. And another thing to notice is when you're pushing up, when you drop into that first one, you'll get that click, and you got to push lightly into the next one, and then to get out of the last one into the set, it's a bigger click. So you might even feel a little bit of counter rotation to get out of that last serration. It seems to be bigger than going from one serration to the next. All right, here are our pins. Is that as far as I can go? Yep. And you can see that there is like the shorter barrel with the longer key pin, and the longer barrels with the shorter key pins, to try to get these stacks all kind of similar in height, like that. And I think that is for bump resistance or something like that. Anyway, that is the ASSA Maximum Plus Restricted Keyway, or I don't know what it is. ASSA Maximum Plus. But if you say ASSA Maximum Plus, people might think you're talking about the Twin Maximum. So ASSA Maximum Plus Restricted. All right, that's it. Thanks.